Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to Strategy Now. My name is Joseph Cusick with the Cusick Group, securities offered by MoneyBlock. Here with your midday update. What are the strategies being deployed here at MarketStream.live and what we're seeing in the markets now? All three of the major indices again hit an all-time new intraday high. Now they've backpedaled a little bit since hitting those highs. You have the S&P up right around 3 points, up about 0.1% today at around 2196. The Nasdaq is up 22, about 0.4% to the upside, and that's around 48, almost 49 points. And the Dow Jones adds another 49, about 0.2%, 0.2% at 18,960. Now you have 8 of the S&P 500 sectors trading in the green, with telecom leading the way up about 2.2%. You also have the consumer discretionary sector up 1.1% and real estate up 1.1%. They're all leading the way. And real estate we're going to be talking about in a moment after the existing home sales report that was out 10 Eastern time this morning. On the other hand, you have healthcare. Continues to struggle, down 1.6% today as a group. You also have energy down about 0.8%. Oil's starting to get weak. We're going to touch on that. And financials down about 0.4%. Those are the three main sectors that are sporting some losses. Now, biotech continues to underperform in the healthcare sector. You saw that the IBB, which is the NASDAQ Biotech ETF, down about 1.9%, around 281.33. That's down $5.38. Now, this is a group that has been surging to the upside post the election, but I think right now you're starting to see that some of the earnings announcements and there could be some profit taking that is coming post this great run up after the election. You see that Medtronic, ticker symbol MDT, plunged about 8.8%, around down about $7 at 73.48. They reported mixed quarterly results. That's been weighing on this sector. And they issued as well guidance that was a little bit poor for fiscal 17. The financial sector, as a group, down about 0.4% and pulling back from what's been an incredible win streak. You know, bank names basically have surged so far this November, drawing most of their strength from that yield curve that continues to steepen. Now, I say that, but if you will, when we look at the treasury markets, you're going to note that that curve, the difference between the short-term yields, the 2 years and the 5 years, between the yields on the 10-year and the 30-year, that curve, that difference has been starting to shrink a little bit. That's starting to get some traders, maybe a few investors that have had basically an incredible November where we've seen this sector up about 16.9%. Take a look at the KBE in November. They may be trimming some profits, especially going into the Thanksgiving holiday. You might see a little more than just trimming the turkey coming into this end of this shortened trading week. In consumer discretionary, as we noted, up to the upside today, sector's up about 1.1% today. Home improvement retailers continue to outperform. Now, the existing home sales report came in, it beat expectations. So you saw Dow components like Home Depot up 231 at 130.53. You also saw Dollar Tree. That was up about almost $8 at 89.90. That's up about 9.6%. Now they moved on their quarterly results, a little bit mixed, but they're guiding the fourth quarter near the higher end of consensus estimates. So that Dollar Tree to the upside. Consumer staples up about 0.4%. This is on the rise of some quarterly reports that we saw from Campbell's Soup, which is up about $1.96 at $57, and Hormel Foods up about 81 cents. Basically, that's what's been bolstering the staples group. The oil pullback, as we had noted earlier, well, again, as I have been warning over the last few weeks, you got to watch these headlines that are going to be coming out of OPEC nations and specifically going into the November 30th meeting. Again, they had a technical meeting that started yesterday and is going on today. They're basically trying to attempt to solidify some terms on discussing a supply freeze agreement. The recent headlines that came out where Iran, Iraq, and Indonesia have expressed reservations or some misgivings about their participation in the proposed deals. Again, you're going to see this volatility rise from these headlines. Right now, crude is down below the $48 mark at $47.40, $47 on the West Texas contract in July. And that's after rallying 4.1% yesterday on what would be considered some upbeat headlines. And it actually came out from Iran. So now, again, we have mixed headlines. The Treasury complex, as we noted when we were discussing the financials, the yield curve is starting to shrink or tighten up a little bit. You see that the performance on the 2-year is about flat at around 1.8%. And you're seeing that the 10-year note is down about 2 basis points at around 2.30. So you're seeing that spread between the 2-year and the 10-year start to tighten up a little bit. That's put some potential pressure on the financials, especially the banks. They're going to watch that very closely. Now, as we noted, home suppliers were doing very well today due to the fact that there was a better than expected existing home sales report for October. Now, they increased by 2% on a seasonally adjusted rate. Right around 5.6 million was the number that came out for the October existing home sales report. That's upwardly revised and they also had an upwardly revised number in September from 5.47 to 5.49 million. So there's been a little bit of an uptick here, and this is the second consecutive monthly uptick following declines in July and August. So anybody that has a home for sale out there, maybe there is some hope. IYR on that report jumped about 1.53% to 74.82. This is the real estate ETF. And right now, the weekly options are still pricing in the potential for this thing to move. If you look at next week's, about $1.50, and it's up $1.13 right now. So it's already getting within its basically 10-day move, estimated move. So pretty impressive on the housing side. What we're going to be taking a look at in Tech Talk at 3:30. We're going to take a look at what's still on tap for the earnings calendar tonight as well as tomorrow. Because tomorrow I'm going to be cutting loose at around after the opening bell. Got to do some family stuff. But we're going to be talking about Hewlett-Packard, GameStop, Urban Outfitters, just to name a few. We'll also discuss Deere and going into their earnings announcements so that you can be prepared before we get into Turkey Day. All right, folks, we will see you at 3:30 for Tech Talk Eastern Time. Till then, have a great rest of the trading day.